So welcome back for another episode, guys. Today we're actually going to be installing some rock lights. I know the last episode or a couple episodes ago I discussed actually going to be installing the Amazon subwoofer. We're going to be doing that the next time. These actually came in about a week or so ago. And I did install the MIG tuning wireless switch panel, so I wanted to add these in. And these actually require you actually purchasing a modification from Badland Industries, and that's actually his mounts. And they're actually magnetic mounts, so you don't have to do any drilling or tapping into your frame, which is really, really nice. And these are actually fully customizable because there's 8 of them. This actual kit is a MIG tuning C2 rock light kit. So there's 8 lights and it will directly connect to your switch panel. It actually comes with its own switch, which is really nice too, if you don't have a switch panel. But it has 8 lights, and I think maybe they actually have a 10 light kit if you wanted to go that route. But this one actually just has 8. So we're gonna mount them on the sides. I'm gonna try to mount some in the wheel wells. They might actually get attached to the leaf springs. I'm not sure yet. Again, it's fully customizable. I know there's been some videos on rock lights that indicate they're customizable, but you have to mount them a certain way. And these aren't gonna be necessarily used for driving around town for just looks purposes. I actually want to make them use-worthy if I'm going off-roading, overlanding, and it's dark out. These are actually, as you can see, pointed at a 45-degree angle. He does sell some other angles, I think one other angle, and another type of actually rock light. So if you don't want the C2, I think there's another MIG tuning rock light that's a little bit bigger, but I think for our purposes, this is gonna be big enough. Let me show you here right quick. As you can see, this actually does say it's a RGBW. So I mean, it's multicolored. I think it has an app. I just really want white, but I guess if you wanted to be colorful, you could. So we're gonna actually get this installed. My biggest concern, I guess, with this is there is a box. It's a little bit about the same size as the wireless switch panel box underneath the hood of the truck. I don't know exactly where I'm gonna mount that yet. We'll see. I think it's waterproof, so you can mount it underneath the truck. You can probably mount it underneath the hood. I don't want to take it inside the truck. That's kind of the point of this. That's the reason you have a wireless switch panel. That's just a lot of extra wires to run. Now, these wires are rather long, so I have to use some actual zip ties. But I'm gonna walk you kind of step by step. There might be some steps that are rather simple or self-explanatory that we might skip through. But I'm gonna show you where I mount them. Now again, being fully customizable, if you get this yourself, and there'll be links in the description of both the Badland Industries mounts. There is some magnetic pieces you have to get from Amazon to use with his mounts, and also the lights themselves. But if you get this kit yourself or get something similar, you may want to mount them somewhere different. But again, I'm just going to show you where I mount them on my 2024 Chevy Colorado to show you that there's enough length of wiring to mount them how you can to a wireless switch panel to make it usable. And I'll show you the night shots just to show you how bright it is in comparison to see if it's something that you might find use-worthy if you're actually out off-roading. So let's go ahead and get started. So before I fully unbox this, I'll show you again, there's 8 of these. And it's packaged really nicely. You have these lights and you have your wires, there's quite a few. And then you have some mounts that came directly with them if you were gonna mount them to your frame. But also you will use these, I think, with the mounts that you get from Badland Industries. We'll see. And there's the other mounts. There's, I think again as well, I'll look through this and we'll learn together. And then you have your box. So this is the box that needs mounted. Now that is one thing I wish that Badland Industries included was, a 3D printed mount of some sorts with his kit for this, and since especially that his mounts are made for the C2 lights, and knowing that this kit comes with this box. But again, this kit's rather cheap. You can get, I think, 4, 8, or 4, 6, 8, or there's several options you can get of these mounts. But it's, I think, $20, $25. Again, I'll put the link there. It comes with all your wiring, of course. The thing I like about this one is it does have a way, if you do desire just to mount it or wire it up to a switch panel, or to actually use a switch. But again, we're going to use the switch panel. So I'm going to try to show you how to actually attach these mounts. They're really simple. You just have to figure out which way you're going to actually have the light pointed and which way you want your wire to go. So of course you're going to have your wire going up underneath it or over the frame, and you want your light pointed down. So you're gonna have it at an angle like this. So what we're gonna do is we wanna make sure we turn our light like so our wire's pointed up. And when we have it, that's gonna be pointed down like this. Let me set you up right quick so you can see what I'm doing actually. So I'm actually gonna show you how to mount these, the Badland Industries mounts. They're really simple. You just use the supplied hardware, okay? And the mounts. You wanna make sure you have your wire going the right way to how you're gonna mount it. So you're gonna have your wire going over the frame, of course, and you want your light pointed down, of course, because they're rock lights. So we're gonna mount it like that. And he's made it really nice, so you just actually put your supplied hardware in here. Let me see if I can give you a good angle. It's just a very simple process. And of course, you just use your Allen key, your hex, or whatever you want to call it. You just screw it in. That's all there is to it to mount the actual rock light to the mount. Okay, and I'll come back and I'll put the magnet in and show you that. And you're gonna do that 8 times, of course, but we're gonna do the magnet next. And you will use the supplied screws that come with the magnets. And these magnets, I will say, are very strong, so they shouldn't have any trouble holding onto the frame of your truck. And you'll use a Phillips screwdriver with these. I probably need to get a bigger Phillips screwdriver than what I'm using. But for this, I'll just show you with these. And there is a nice little recess spot right here, as you can see. Get in there, take the supplied Phillips screw and put it on one side. And I'm sorry if it's really, really shiny and not really, you can't see it because it's bright, but you just screw it in. There's 2 of them, it mounts really good. Like I said, I'll probably get a better screwdriver in just a second because this one's not very good. I don't want to strip it out. But again, you'll just go around doing this 8 times or however many lights you got, however many mounts. And I'll come back once I get this done and then we'll start kind of getting these arranged and wired up. So full disclosure guys, I actually put the magnets in backwards. I realized that I had them like this in there and that's the wrong way. So I had to go back and change them back to this way because they was not sticking to the surface of the vehicle. So make sure the recess is pointing downward. And now of course you can make sure they stick to the vehicle and they're very strong, and I'll show you that in just a second. So I have all the mounts completed. I have all the magnets on the back there with the Phillips screws. So now all we have to do is really mount the box, because that's what we're limited by, is the amount of wiring. So after looking at it, we can't really put this under the hood of the truck. It's really going to have to go underneath the truck. And I'm going to try to put it somewhere center where it's going to be out of the way when we're off-roading, that it's not going to get damaged and not too much dirt and mud. So I'm gonna try to look for a spot, and once we find a spot kind of close to the front that's decent, then we'll actually be able to mount this with something. I'm gonna try to probably, for the moment, probably use some zip ties, and I think that'll be fine. Again, zip ties holds everything, holds the world together, honestly. We'll be able to run the wires or mount the lights and then run the wires. The good things about this is it's not gonna really take a long time to mount these. Because again, they're held on by magnets, so you can move them if you don't like where they're at. So you can see, here's the various wire links, got them separated. There is 4 that's quite a bit longer, so I'm imagining that we'll put those on the rear. 4 that's kind of shorter, those go towards the front. So let's go and get started. I'm gonna find a mounting location for this box first. After we get it mounted, then we'll start running the lights. It may seem a little bit like a rat's nest right now, but here's the box. I'm gonna cut, and of course these zip ties are, clean it up a little bit, but it's underneath the truck. So I am gonna shorten or cut this wire here and run a wire up to the switch panel. I don't necessarily like the mounting, having a zip tied here, but I do think it's gonna hold, it's gonna be fine. I'll check it every so often, and eventually I might hard mount it, but gosh, I really don't wanna actually drill into the frame. I've gotten most of the wiring ran to the rock lights. I'm gonna tidy that up, clean it up. I've gotten 1 or 2 on each wheel, 1 to the front, 1 to the back, and of course I'll show you what that looks like here at the end. Let me go ahead And hold on one second, I'm gonna show you the wire that we have to cut. Okay, again, a rat's nest, I know, but we'll get that cleaned up here in just a second. So we're gonna probably, shorten this. We're gonna shorten this, or cut these ends off. And I got some extra wire, and we're running this actually up to the switch panel. And I don't know, I think I'll leave this fuse on. Kind of debating it because the switch panel itself has fuses. I guess the inline fuse would help or be nice to have. My only concern is I'm not sure if this is actually, this box or this piece right here is actually waterproof. I don't know, we'll see. I may actually go ahead and snip that off. I don't think it's necessarily needed, but we could just leave it just in case. If for some reason we have some problems with this in the future, I can cut it and rerun the wire, or tap in just a regular piece of wire, whatever we need to do. But let's go ahead and run the wire up to the front of the truck, up to the switch panel, and get it wired in. So as mentioned, the next part's cutting this wire. I'm gonna cut it and then we'll actually add some wire in. I just have black wire, but it doesn't matter, because as long as you know which is the positive and the negative, it does not matter what color it is. You want to roughly cut them in the same location. So there we go. And we'll add in some wire next. So I was actually going to put it on a 15 amp. We've got it mostly wired up, but both my 15 amps are taken, so I am going to start out with the 10 amp. If that blows or that fuse blows and we'll put it on the 20, I'll replace the 10. But let's start off just trying to wire it up to the 10 amp here. So first, I just got to measure out the wire of what I need. This is all the excess. So of course, I'm going to bring it around here. I'm going to have to use a zip tie and put it right going into here. So give me a second. I'm going to cut a little, just have a little bit of excess. And we're going to go, this is the positive. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the positive there. So we have cut our wire, we got it measured. So next we're just going to kind of get, this is actually a 12 gauge, I believe. So we're just going to cut a little bit here, or take a little of the sheathing off. Doesn't take a ton. Actually, sorry, it's a 16 gauge. Okay, just enough to be able to go in there into the positive terminal. Open it up. This screwdriver is magnetic, so you gotta be careful. There it goes. Okay, I think it is in there. It's in the 10 amp positive. We'll always do the pull test to make sure that it's right. Yep, it's good. So next we'll measure out our negative and put it in the negative terminal. So we have the negative one measured. Same thing, 16 gauge. Send the sheathing off. Good deal. Okay. And I get this weather seal here. I will say this MIG tuning switch panel is hard to get the wires in the terminals, but that's okay. It's pretty sturdy. Okay, it's good. They're both in there. Now on the switch panel, I'm not sure which this is. I have no idea. But theoretically, it should be wired up. So we're gonna try it together. I'm gonna crank the truck up because I have to have it cranked where it's into the shutter fuse, or arrow shutter as they call it. And we'll just see if it works. I know yeah, I'm pretty dirty. I was crawling around quite a bit actually trying to get this installed, but let's go ahead and see if these work. So I think we have us a light show. Yeah, they work. I'm just going to figure out exactly how to set them up now. There is an app. You have to, I guess, download the app and switch the color to what you want. And we'll do that. I'll show you what it looks like. But now I don't plan on having a light show. I don't plan on having anything else but the actual white on these. But it does work. So we got them wired up right. Now just to clean up, get all the actual zip tie things cut off the bottoms there and go from there. But they did work. I will say this is actually pretty customizable because again, you can move these around anywhere you want. Now, minus the length of the wiring, that's really all you're limited by. But again, I mean, it's a little bit time consuming just running your wiring. But otherwise, as you can see, we have a rainbow light show. Feels like it's the early 2000s, 1999 again or something. So let's go get these wire zip ties fixed and we'll pair the Bluetooth app later and get this to being white and I'll show you what that looks like. Well, that concludes the video. So that was the install of the rock lights using Badland Industries magnetic mounts. As you can see, it's pretty customizable. They're pretty easy to install. Takes a little while in terms of just running your wires, but once they're installed, I mean, you can basically move them about anywhere as long as you just leave a little bit extra wire for yourself. We'll see how the length of time, just how they last long term. You know, they are the MIC tuning brand, the same as my wireless switch panel, so I think that they'll be fine. So far, the MIC tuning switch panel seems pretty robust. So, and those lights actually seem pretty robust too, and they're pretty bright. So we'll just see how they last and see how things work out with them, and kind of go from there. But again, if that's something that you want to pick up, the description, or actually the link is in the description. Thank you all for watching, and again, next time, hopefully we'll be installing the Amazon subwoofer that I picked up there a couple episodes ago. I showed you all. It shouldn't, you know, that'll be probably a couple weeks from now, and some more off-roading content. I hope to see you all around next time. Bye.